Welcome back to The Explainer. So June is officially here. Temperatures are absolutely soaring everywhere, and millions of us are reaching for that one globally beloved fruit to beat the heat, the watermelon. We're going to get straight to the facts today, looking at the actual hard science behind this massive summer staple.
But let me throw a quick question at you right off the bat. Are you eating watermelon the wrong way? I know, you're probably thinking, come on, it's just fruit. How can there be a wrong way? Well, did you know that eating it at the wrong time of day, or honestly, just eating the wrong amount for your specific age, can actually trigger some pretty uncomfortable bloating, digestive issues, and even sudden blood sugar spikes? Yeah, no joke. A 1-year-old toddler literally shouldn't be eating the exact same amount as a 25-year-old athlete or 75-year-old senior.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We've got 1, global popularity, 2, nutritional superpowers, 3, an age-wise guide, 4, timing and pairings, and finally 5, risks and precautions. Let's dive right in. Starting off with section 1, global popularity. It's honestly fascinating to see just how universal this fruit is. China is actually the undisputed heavyweight champion here, the world's largest producer and consumer. Then you've got India, Turkey, Iran, Brazil, and the United States rounding out the top spots. During June and July, consumption just skyrockets globally, mostly because that hot weather naturally amps up our body's craving for hydration. And across all these totally different cultures, you'll see people tossing it into smoothies, mixing it into light salads, or, just eating it right out of the fruit bowl. Okay, moving right along to section 2, nutritional superpowers. Greater than 90%. That is the actual water content of a watermelon. It's basically like a giant, delicious sponge. It is literally nature's ultimate built-in cooling system. When you're out there sweating and losing fluids in the summer heat, this is exactly the kind of rapid hydration response your body is begging for. Now, obviously, that 90% water content is the main event, but whatever you do, don't ignore that smaller 10% slice. That leftover fraction packs a seriously essential nutritional punch that you absolutely need. So, what's actually hiding in that 10%? Well, we're talking vitamin C, vitamin A, potassium, magnesium, a little bit of fiber, and, this is the big one, lycopene. Lycopene is an incredibly powerful antioxidant. It's actually the exact thing that gives the fruit its bright red color. Nutrition experts are always raving about this stuff because the research strongly suggests lycopene supports heart health, protects your cells from oxidative stress, and really contributes to healthy aging. All right, now that we know what makes it tick, let's talk about how to eat it safely. On to section 3, the age-wise guide. Let's start with the little ones, toddlers aged 1 to 3. The sweet spot here is just 50 to 100 grams a day. It gives them that immune-boosting vitamin C and some natural sweetness without all the processed junk. But hey, a really strict safety rule here. Always remove the seeds and cut it into tiny bite-sized pieces to avoid any choking risks. Now, for kids aged 4 to 12, we can bump that up to about 150 to 200 grams. Active kids are losing a ton of water running around outside, so this is a fantastic afternoon hydration boost that totally beats out heavily processed sugary snacks. Okay, shifting gears to teenagers and young adults, the 13 to 30 crowd. They can easily handle 250 to 300 grams a serving. Why so much? Because teens and young athletes can uniquely benefit from a specific amino acid in watermelon called citrulline. It's an absolute game changer for blood flow and post-workout recovery. Then, for adults aged 30 to 60, the recommendation holds pretty steady at 200 to 300 grams daily. At this stage of life, that cardiovascular support from the lycopene is super important. Plus, all that water makes you feel full, which is a great little hack to stop you from mindlessly snacking at your desk all afternoon. I actually want to slow down for just a second here, because this next part is absolutely crucial. Older adults are significantly more vulnerable to dehydration, especially when it's hot out. As we get older, our body's natural thirst signals can actually fade out of it, which makes intentional hydration a literal necessity. Because of that vulnerability, seniors in the 60 to 80 plus bracket should be aiming for about 100 to 200 grams daily. It's honestly the perfect fruit for seniors because the soft texture makes it incredibly easy to eat and digest while still delivering that massive rush of antioxidants. But, and this is a big but, if you are dealing with kidney disease or your doctor has told you to limit your potassium, you definitely need to chat with your healthcare provider before making this a daily staple. All right, here is the whole age-wise guide in one handy spot. Feel free to grab a screenshot of this. It's basically a snapshot of your lifelong relationship with watermelon, showing how those ideal portions peak during our super active young adult years and then just taper off slightly as our metabolisms shift later in life. So we've nailed down the how much. Now let's tackle the when and the with what. Section 4, timing and pairings. When you look at our daily digestion cycles, the absolute best times to grab a slice are mid-morning, so between 10 a.m. and noon, or in that late afternoon slump between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. A lot of people actually digest it best on an empty stomach. But take a look at the far end of that timeline, 10 p.m. You really want to avoid eating this late at night. Trust me, eating a massive bowl of something that is 90% water right before your head hits the pillow is a guaranteed recipe for waking up to use the bathroom, terrible sleep, and probably some stomach weirdness. And hey, it's not just about the clock, it's about what else you're eating. Watermelon pairs beautifully with fresh mint, cucumber, plain yogurt, or some light greens. But you absolutely have to avoid eating it right after heavy fried foods, giant sugary desserts, soft drinks, or a bunch of alcohol. Dumping a ton of water and natural fruit sugars on top of a dense, heavy meal, yeah, that's a one-way ticket to severe bloat city. Just do yourself a favor and wait a good 30 to 45 minutes after a big dinner before you reach for the watermelon. Let's wrap things up and make sure we're covering all our safety bases. Section 5, risks and precautions. Look, while this fruit is completely safe for the vast majority of us, a few specific groups do need to proceed with a bit of caution. If you're dealing with advanced kidney disease, uncontrolled diabetes, since you really have to watch those portions to avoid sugar spikes, IBS, chronic bloating, or one of those rare watermelon allergies, you need to talk to your doctor first. Don't just make it a daily habit without getting the green light from a medical professional. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. The key really is moderation. It's kind of wild to think about, but even the healthiest, most hydrating, nutrient-packed whole foods can cause issues if we just go totally overboard. Eating smart is all about knowing your own body's limits. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to upgrade your summer hydration habit today? Because now you've got the actual science and the structure to choose the perfect amount at the exact right time paired with the right foods. Take these tips, build them into your routine, stay perfectly hydrated, and go enjoy this incredible fruit the right way. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.